Deep Shot Podcast, Season 4, Episode 51.
Brian Urlacher, was he 51?
No, 54. He was 54. Brandon Spikes, Caleb.
Gerard Mayo. Yeah,
Right.
Spikes.
That's all I remember.
51. The 51 I'm thinking about, I ain't saying out loud. So
Why not?
I ain't saying it. I ain't saying it.
Now you got to say it.
Well, we'll cut it out.
Super Bowl 51.
Oh. All right. Well, welcome to another episode of the Deep Shot Podcast. We have the Super Bowl preview. This is going to be a mega Super Bowl preview because we've got a lot of stats, a lot of facts. We've got all of that. Seahawks, Patriots, Super Bowl 60. After that, we're going to talk about some free agent bold predictions, as well as some shakeup in the college football future schedules in the playoffs. So before we get into all of that, as always, we're just going to ask you follow on Instagram and TikTok. Past 2,800 followers today on the Instagram. So we keep climbing. Thank you for that. Trying to get to 3,000 by the Super Bowl. If you're listening, tell your friends, friends, and help us get to 3,000 for the Super Bowl. That would be awesome as we head into the off season. And then subscribe to YouTube as well, gaining some more subscribers there. It's really cool to see all of that. A lot of you guys watched the Deep Shot Award show, which I'll go ahead and say, I love seeing you guys' face. I love doing this podcast. Probably my favorite thing I do. The feeling that we had a couple nights ago is just uncomparable to, I think, another feeling I'll have until maybe our next award show.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe start drinking during more pods because that was kind of electric. And listening back to it, you can really start to tell once I got through my third and got through my fourth, the acceptance speech for Diva of the Year had quite a few slurred words. So maybe I'll break that out for the post Super Bowl episode.
Yeah, we might have to coordinate the season the right way, depending on how this game goes this Sunday. But I agree. I think that was just a different kind of setting for us. I think it's more like we talk football and sports when we're together, but we don't talk like we talk on a podcast, but the award show the other night was just that's how we are when we're in a room together, folks. That is literally what that was.
So thank you guys for listening and watching. A lot of you guys watch on YouTube. Continue to subscribe. A lot of content will be coming out during the off season. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's start talking about Super Bowl 60. Okay, right now the Seahawks are -4.5, over-unders at 45.5. Couple stats. Let's throw this out here. A couple Super Bowl stats. This Super Bowl is in San Francisco, Santa Clara, to be exact. Do you guys know the last Super Bowl that was played Levi Stadium?
Broncos and Panthers.
Correct.
Bang.
Okay.
Bang.
All right. How about that? I did not see you getting that one off the bat. You guys remember where we were? We were at the Goat House for that one. I know Jake was. I can't remember if Caleb was.
I think I was too. I just remember everybody screaming, "Oh!" when he snapped it over to dude's head. Right? Was that the game?
Yeah. I remember all of us being there. That was the year before the infamous Super Bowl. All right. Also, fun fact here: the 45.5 point total is the smallest total in a Super Bowl since Super Bowl 50.
Oh, really? How about that?
Since that Super Bowl in San Francisco.
I mean, that makes sense because both those defenses were all-timers. That Broncos defense with Von Miller was insane. That Carolina defense with Luke Kuechly, insane. Kind of checks out.
This is the first Super Bowl matchup since 1981 where it features two teams that had preseason Super Bowl odds of 50-1 or longer.
Wow.
And this is the 10th Super Bowl rematch in NFL history. The winner of the first meeting is 6-3 in the second meeting. So, just a couple of stats I wanted to throw out there for you to start this preview. Let's talk about the game, or I'll talk about the game a little bit here. All right, in terms of the rankings throughout the season, Seattle's defense is number 1 in points and in third down conversions. They're also, I believe, second in rushing yards allowed, 91.9 yards a game allowed on defense in the rushing category. Patriots defense is number 4 in giving up points on defense, so both top 5 defenses. Patriots offense is 6th in running the ball, so that'll be an early matchup to look for. How will Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson, who's been struggling, him specifically been struggling a lot in these playoffs getting to go, and how will that matchup against the Seahawks defensive line and run game? Both teams have great offenses, or top 3 in total points scored. So that'll be an interesting matchup to look at. Other matchups to look at, I want to see Jackson Smith and Jigba versus Christian Gonzalez. I mean, this is, wide receiver one versus cornerback one, but like terms of what they are in the NFL today or maybe this year. They're at least both top three at their position, top five at worst. How will the Patriots offensive line that has struggled? We've talked about that. Caleb's admitted that Drake May's been getting lit up all season long. Well, the Seahawks have 47 sacks. They're known for how good their defense was. I just told you how good their defense was. How will that match up? So obviously in the run game and getting to Drake May in the pass game. A lot of the Drake May talk I've seen this week is how will he be with his legs, because he's going to have to make a lot of plays with his legs. In terms of the quarterback matchup with Drake May versus Sam Darnold, this is the first time either of them are playing in a big game like this. Neither of them have played in the Super Bowl, and the paths are a lot different. But what will that moment be like? And who do you trust more? In terms of the coaches, Mike Vrabel has been to the Super Bowl as a player in the Patriots, right? And he's been a coach for a long time. He's been in a lot of playoff games. Josh McDaniels has been in a lot of Super Bowls as the offensive coordinator for the Patriots, a ton. So he's won a lot of Super Bowls. He's done this before. Mike McDonald has never played football, if you guys didn't know this. And Mike McDonald went to the University of Georgia, by the way. Go Dogs. That's just something else to look up in terms of matchups and the coaching matchups. Obviously, they're both, one's in the first year with this team, second year in the team, but one's got a lot more experience, and maybe the coaching staff does as well. Special teams. Listen to this. Rashid Shaheed, since he's gotten to the Seahawks, has 2 kick return touchdowns and a punt return touchdown. And he got to them at the trade deadline. Marcus Jones, the Patriots punt returner, has 2 punt return touchdowns himself this season, was second team All-Pro. A lot of good matchups we've got going on in the Super Bowl. All right, this is why the 2 best teams are left playing for the championship. In terms of where I think this game will go, I lean a little bit towards the Patriots are a really young team. Okay, the quarterback's young, the running backs are young, the offensive line is young, the defense is relatively young. I'm a little worried about how they'll come out in a big moment like this. I feel like a lot of this playoff run, they've played safely. They've played a lot of not to lose football. And I think the Seahawks are going to come out guns a-blazing. And I think obviously the Patriots have gone against 3 really good defenses in the AFC side of this. I think the Seahawks, you could argue, maybe the best. If not, they're another one. They're going to be paying the 4th straight really good defense in a row. I'm a little worried in terms of the maturity and how much they got going on, but they do have the coaching advantage on their side in terms of that. I have a hard time in terms of what the Seahawks are going to be able to bring in terms of explosiveness with Shaheed, with Jackson Smith-Njigba, with Sam Darnold, who's been a quarterback in this league for 8 years now, 7 or 8 years. I think in terms of offensive football, they're going to have it going. Like, I don't really have any doubts there. If Drake May makes plays with his feet, if the running game can get going for the Patriots, if they can keep up, think they'll have a fighting chance here. But I'm leaning more of the Seahawks just because of the experience that they've got on the defensive side of the ball, in the quarterback position. I know in terms of coaching, which is a little edgy to go off of, right? In terms of, the coaching, they may not have the advantage, but I like the team more. I think that's a reason they're 4.5 point favorites. The total is low because I feel like the Patriots are going to have a hard time scoring. It seems like they've had a hard time scoring offensively throughout the playoffs. I see that still being a trend, and I think the Seahawks are going to make it a lot of plays. And I think I read you those special team stats. I've read you the stats right here. I think I don't have it in front of me, but a defensive Seattle Seahawks special teams or defensive touchdown will happen. Bet it. I'm taking the Seahawks, and I'm taking them -4.5.
So I have a few things to comment. So yes, like the Seahawks have like that advantage and experience, but well, Drake May hasn't really played in the huge game. Sam Darnold hasn't played in a huge game in the Super Bowl. Same as Sam Darnold. Neither one of them have played in the Super Bowl. I have been on this podcast weekly been saying I'm just getting ready for the Sam Darnold to fall apart. I'm just getting ready for it. And it just seems like that is far away. We saw in the NFC Championship game, Sam Darnold threw for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. Probably played his best game of his NFL career. I think that's unarguable at this point. He looked spectacular. He's been dealing with this oblique injury That's behind him. He's had a whole week off. He will be sharp. I find it hard to see a path for the Patriots to really win this game. Now, obviously, if there's a turnover here, like you said, if there's a defensive touchdown, there's a special teams touchdown, then obviously things can go haywire. And I think the Patriots are a really good team. And I do think that I have been harsh on the Patriots. I think people have been harsh on this Patriots offense because you bring up a good point. They've played like the number 1, the number 3, and the number 4 defense in the NFL throughout their run through the playoffs. So they've been playing really good defenses, but they've been playing really good defenses with horrid offenses on the other side. And that's where I see if the Seahawks are able to perform like they have this entire season where they were the best team in the NFC virtually the entire time. They've been the best team in the playoffs. If they can perform, if Jackson Smith and Jigba can get going, if Kenneth Walker can get going, if Sam Darnold's making his plays, if Cooper Kupp can make a couple catches, I don't see a way they can keep up. I don't. I don't see it. And I'll make one more comment. You talk about the Jackson Smith and Jigba versus Christian Gonzalez matchup. Christian Gonzalez, really good player. I watched Drake London do whatever he wanted to against Christian Gonzalez during the regular season.
Oh my gosh, that's such a lie. It wasn't even on Christian Gonzalez the most of the game when he got his catches.
Whoa.
His targets were like twice. That's patently false information. Just saying.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Drake London had 3 touchdowns. Okay, you don't want to talk about the Christian Gonzalez specifically? Drake London did whatever he wanted to on that Patriots defense. How about that? Jackson Smith and Jigba, they can try and shadow him and run him all over the field. It's not going to matter. Jackson Smith and Jigba is the best wide receiver in the NFL this season, and I don't see a way that's going to stop. We saw him get for 10 and $150 in the NFC Championship game. Week in and week out, this guy's producing. It's like when you get to a point when a receiver is playing as good as a guy like JSN has been playing this season, it doesn't really matter what you do. You can't stop him. You can only try and contain him. He's going to get at least 6 or 7 catches. He's going to get in the end zone. He's going to get 100 yards. That's going to happen. So that's just my question is, the Seahawks defense is really good, but I'll tell you one of the best things about the Seahawks defense. The Seahawks defense is great, and it's not just reliant on one player. It's not. They have players at every single position group. They had 47 sacks this year. The most they had on the team was 7. They had Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, and Uchenna Nwasu all had 7 apiece. That's 21. There's another 26 sacks to be allocated throughout that defense. That's dang good. There's not just one guy that you have to play to take away. Drake May's going to be pressured. We've seen him not play the best in this playoffs. Yes, he's been playing against tough defenses. Yes. But that's no different than what we're going to see on Sunday with the Seahawks defense. The Seahawks defense is really good. And if Drake May has a turnover like he's had in the last few games, if he has these back-breaking plays, he's not going to be able to lean back on Justin Herbert getting sacked every single time he takes his drop back. He's not going to be able to count on C.J. Stroud throwing 4 interceptions in the first half. He's not going to be able to count on Jared Stidham, who hasn't thrown a pass all season, going out there and throwing and lateraling the ball backwards, and they get free 7 points. He's not going to be able to rely on that. So I have a lot of worries for the Patriots on how they're going to be able to keep up. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not predicting a blowout. I think it's going to be about 30-20 Seahawks. Give me the Seahawks -4.5.
Caleb, let me ask you this before you respond.
Well, I don't want to be offensive here.
Caleb, let me ask you this. Drake May, there's rumors he's got a shoulder injury. What are the concerns there?
If Mike Vrabel's not concerned, I'm not concerned.
Okay, fair enough. Now go into what you want to say.
I don't want to be offensive, but what you just said about your last take about them fuckers scoring 30 on New England is just bullshit. That's complete bullshit. You think that the team who has the #1 run rate in the league is going to run into the #1 run defense in the league and have success? And Sam Darnold's just going to, when that shit breaks down, he's just going to be able to sit back there and pick apart the Pats defense? I mean, I find a hard time to believe in that. The whole focus about New England, this playoff run, has been about the offensive success. What wins championships? Defense. Okay, so we got that part knocked out of the way. We also know that Seattle is the #1. I'm telling you, they run the ball more than anybody. They have more run attempts per game than any other team in the league. You're playing the number one run defense. That does not go well. Here's a stat for you. All right, so Kenneth Walker has played 3 run defenses that are in the top 10 this year. Here are his stat lines. 1.9 yards per carry on 17 yards on 9 attempts versus the Colts. 34 yards on 10 attempts against the Jags, 66 yards on 17 against the Texans. If he has those rushing totals on Sunday, it would take Sam Darnold throw for 350 again to do it. And
So just real quick, I just want you to know the Seahawks won all 3 of those games. Just
and
throwing
every
that, just
single
throwing that out
fucking
there.
every single
Just
game
throwing
that
that
you
out
guys are
there.
talking about New England played like shit on offense, they also did the same thing. So that's a mute point. I mean, they both have won enough games to get to the Super Bowl. So to say they're going to win, we're going to give one team credit and dunk on another one for the same sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Exactly.
So
Drake May has been
Kenneth
sacked
Walker-
5 times in each of the 3 playoff games this year.
I
That's
think
going to
this
be a
is
problem.
It's
with
going to be a problem. I would
Mhm.
agree. Here's the thing, though. 2 things on that front. One, I think the pass rushes that we have seen are all better than Seattle's. Can we agree to that? Like Houston's got a better pass rush, the Chargers have a better pass rush, and the Broncos have a better pass rush than Seattle. Seattle, their
Pass rush, yes.
the
Pass
strength
rush,
of
yes.
Seattle's
Total
defense.
defense.
No, I would agree. The total defense is better than Seattle. Well, I still don't know if Seattle's defense is better than Houston's. We're gonna find out Sunday. Seattle does the coverage and the tackling part well. They're the best in the league at that. Okay. So New England's got to have a game plan to make them honor that by running the ball and taking the pressure off of Drake May. And also Will Campbell's got to look like a professional instead of looking silly, because he's looked silly a lot lately.
Mhm.
I think also your coaching can help some of that stuff, right? Ramondre Stevenson, people have missed that the reason why this guy, Ramondre Stevenson, plays more than Travion has is not because Travion is struggling rushing the ball. It's pass pro too. Ramondre is one of the best pass protectors in football in the backfield. He needs to be sliding to that side every time to help Will Campbell, because you got 2 rookies over there the way it is. But what's not being talked about with Drake May, and I was reading up on this today, teams have cranked up their cover 6. This is going to get real technical in the technical stuff of the football. Most teams all season long have been about 60-40 zone on Drake May, and he has been the probably 3rd or 2nd best passer against zone coverage. No matter if it don't matter if it's cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. Okay. The last 2 weeks in the playoffs, he has seen more cover 6, like to a point that they've turned it up almost to like 35-40% of the time people are running cover 6, which, if you don't know, it's cover 2 and cover 4 put together. Okay. It's confusing as a quarterback because the shell looks the same. It's 2 different coverages on one side. So you got that, right? I think that we were somewhat unprepared to see that the first 3 weeks, and we're still able to throw the ball effectively enough to win a game. Josh McDaniel's been in, I think, 20% of the Super Bowls ever played now. I mean, he's coached in 11 of them out of 60. So he's been in the building enough to know what it takes to get things done in this game. I mean, I just don't understand how you could trust the coaching staff on the Seahawks more than Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels. You got ownership that knows how to run the building, be there and do that, and give people advice on all the other distractions too, like the media availability stuff and getting ready for practice, And then you also then may want to base the game on quarterback play and depending on what happens this week, MVP is on one side, and you got Sam Darnold, who's had the number 1 rush rate and a really good rushing offense to back him this year on the other side. I'm just saying if it's going to be something that you're going to be like, oh, they're going to struggle. I simply disagree. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think the New England Patriots are going to generate a bunch of interior pressure on Sam Darnold too. Like he's going to have a hard time because Milton Williams, when he's in the game, he's the best defensive interior lineman right now, not named Jalen Carter, I think, in the NFL. And he's going to push the pile. You combine that with just the way that the guys are playing, and corny as it may be, talk about team. Okay. Those guys in New England, all the stuff that's came out in the Boston Globe and the Herald this week, like the little sidebar stories about, and Garrison was talking about, I got to go watch this interview later, but like the Vrabel interview, he's telling about how we got this thing in the team meeting. Like Will Campbell does a comedy skit on Fridays, and it's just the guys love each other. Something is truthful and gives you power in being tighter with the guy next to you than the other guys. Okay. And last parting stat right here. Since 2004, underdogs 15-7 against the spread in the Super Bowl. They've covered in 5 straight and won about half of them outright. Whatever line you got in the building the ball game, I think that you need to have a little bit more belief in what is in New England, because the team is 14-3 and they just beat 3 top 10 defenses or top 5 defenses for the first time in a Super Bowl run ever. And we're
Okay.
going to say that this one's going to knock us out?
Couple things. One, I said in the opener of my statement that the Patriots did have the coaching advantage. Okay. I pointed that out. But what I'm also, at the end of the day, and I was watching Pat McAfee's show today, and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were on the show. And Jamar Chase, they asked Jamar Chase like a question about, Zach Taylor being the most, veteran coach in the AFC North and what that means to the team. And Jamar Chase said it, and I think it hit me. I mean, you guys may disagree. I know we've had this discussion, but he said at the end of the day, the players are the ones that make the plays, and the players are the ones that actually matter. And I think in terms of the matchups, like we've said, you've said it yourself. Well, Campbell's been looking silly. Well, he's going to be having to go against guys like DeMarcus Lawrence and veteran defensive pass rush. And I think it really just comes down to what I was originally saying. Yes, the Patriots, and you're coming at this from a fan perspective, and you follow, and who knows if the Patriots are a little more tighter of a group than the Seahawks. I don't really know all that. But I think the Seahawks are a more veteran team, well balanced in terms of what they're doing. Yes, I think, maybe Charbonnet being out is maybe going to hurt them in the run game, but I think Kenneth Walker has had a great season as well. I just think when I look at the players and I compare player on player matchups, it just seems like the Seahawks are going to win most of those, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. The Patriots may cover spread, and the Patriots are going to have coaching, advantages in certain things, but I think the players on the Seahawks are just better than the players on the Patriots.
But you would have said that at the
I
beginning of the
think
season too, right? You would also thought that Seahawks were not a 14-3 team, but they were okay, and you thought New England was going to be terrible. I mean, yes, can we
I mean,
reshuffle
I
the
don't know.
report
I didn't
card
have
here?
opinions on either of these teams in the preseason, but we're not in the preseason. We're 3 days away from the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
I mean, we went through our playoff predictions like a month ago, and
Yeah.
I think the best that we did was like 4 for 8, 5 for 8. Like, neither one of us did great.
None of us picked the
Yeah.
Patriots or the Seahawks to go to the playoffs.
No. So this is another thing I'm looking at, like talking about Seattle's rushing and like talking about it like Seattle is 100% dependent on the run. If they don't get the run, they're screwed. I mean, when they beat the Rams, they were rushing for 2.9 yards per carry. 2.9 yards. That's not like they were gashing them or anything. I mean, no, it's not the 1.9 that you pointed out earlier, but it's 2.9.
And it's
not
also
like
a
that's good.
team they've played
what
3
happened?
times.
And what happened? Sam Darnold throws for 350 and 3 touchdowns. You were talking about that it's like disrespectful to assume this about the Patriots. I think it's disrespectful to assume that Sam Darnold is dependent on a run game when we've seen it. Like the 3 examples that you told me, okay, they're 3-0 in those games. We can't minimize that. That's important. If they can't yes, they have the number 1 run game because they're good at running the football. They're good at running the football. But when it's not there, they're still winning games. When in the NFC Championship game against a team who knows them, you want to play the whole, okay, they've played 3 times. Well, we can play that same angle from the Rams side. We play that same angle for the Rams side who beat them once, probably should have beat them the second time, and then was in a really tight game with the NFC Championship game, and they couldn't run the ball. Kenneth Walker had 20 carries for 60 yards. That's not great. That's not great. They were not able to gash them. He had a long run of 11 yards in that game. Sam Darnold, 353 touchdowns.
I just have a hard time thinking that we're going to let them loose in the pass game like that. We haven't done that with anybody this year. Nobody's been able to throw for 350 at any pop and choice that they want to. And look, it's good for the Seattle Seahawks that they got Kubiak back. He's not going to be interviewing this week, so there's a little bit more focus there. I understand that they got great targets. They got JSN. And I mean, I just believe that sometimes the defense wins out in these games, man. Like the guys, it's too bright. And if anything, yes, the experience will matter, but there ain't no other organization in the NFL that's close to preparing their players for this moment than the New England Patriots.
I mean, yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. The organization is great and all, but Tom Brady ain't stepping on that field. Rob Gronkowski ain't stepping on that field. Randy Moss, which he never won a championship, never is not stepping on the field. Julian Edelman's not stepping on that field. Mike Vrabel's not stepping on that field. Gerard Mayo's not stepping onto that field. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, like the organization who this organization that. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. If that mattered as much as it did, it wouldn't be so long since we've seen, the Pittsburgh Steelers win a Super Bowl. It wouldn't be as long since we've seen the Green Bay Packers win a Super Bowl. It wouldn't have been that long since we've seen the Raiders, who are one of the best franchises in the NFL, like one of the charter organizations. They're terrible. When's the last time they were even relevant? I get it's different because we've seen the Patriots win 6 Super Bowls. I get that. I get that. I get that. Robert Kraft, I said like on my deep thought like 2 weeks ago that he's the best owner in sports, not the NFL, in sports. I get that, but game gets played between the lines. And like I said, I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I do not think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think this is going to be a 36-0, but in the middle of third quarter like it was last year with the Eagles Chiefs. I do not think that. If that happens, I will be shocked. I will be absolutely floored. I will have an awesome, amazing season-ending episode next week. It would be awesome, but I don't expect that to happen. I'll be generally floored.
And you got last words, Caleb.
I just have an ultimate belief in my team, and I think that the Seattle Seahawks are one of the other things that may go against them in this game. It's going to be close, right? Somebody's going to have to go for it on fourth down in this game. New England's second in the NFL in fourth down efficiency and first on defense on fourth down. Seattle, 20s and 30s. So when it gets clutch, we've performed. That's something that gives me a little bit more solace. And just as a totality on the year, everybody's been dunking on us about schedule this, schedule that. Seattle ain't played too tough a schedule either. I mean, they live in a division that's way harder than what New England had to deal with. But you look at the out-of-conference stuff and the quarterbacks they end up having to deal with, it wasn't too daunting. Their defense is for real. I think Drake May's going to play it wouldn't be hard for him to play his best game of the playoffs in this game because he's played poorly before.
Yeah, that wouldn't be hard. That would.
And if we've won with him playing like shit so far. And speaking of shit, I got a thing to take up with Fanatics jerseys on here. I don't know if you guys saw that.
The patches look horrible. They look so bad.
Okay, well,
bad.
I was going to get to that too, but they sent out a letter. I was looking last week. I've been hunting hard for a jersey somewhere, and they got so there's a Tundra jersey that's not even like, it doesn't even look like your real game jersey. It's just like you'd hang it up in the corner Wild Wings jersey. This is like something that nobody cares about, but it looks cool in first glance, but you wouldn't ever wear it. So they're selling that for $130. They got the real jersey for $160, but the logo is the size of Connecticut on the jersey. It's ridiculous. I mean, it is literally this big. Okay. Now, jersey's $160. I'm cool with that. I'll pay it. I plan on paying it. But they can't even get the damn jerseys because they don't have enough. They're sold out already. And they had to issue an apology. And they basically said in their apology, hey, these teams were bad last year. We didn't think they'd be good again. We didn't have enough jerseys made up. What in the hell? How many jerseys? Y'all can't. I mean, listen, I know how the business goes. Okay. You can't get the Philippines and Taiwan, all those other places that they're making these jerseys over there. I know they're there. We know they're there. What are they've been sitting on their hands? Come on, man. There's somebody a boat must have sunk or something. All of them went down. There's no way they don't have New England jerseys. That blows my mind. To think they made like 1 billion Chiefs jerseys. Imagine how many Chiefs jerseys they got.
Yeah, they're all in Africa right now.
Yeah, Chiefs and Eagles jerseys for sure.
But what a joke for the Super Bowl. You like, hey, by the way, fans, just wear a white T-shirt. Your jersey might be here, before the game starts. Well, hopefully.
How confident are you because you're wearing the white jerseys? You'll win the game.
Listen, undefeated on the road, going on the road. White jerseys, undefeated, wearing them too. Listen, the everything's in alignment. Everybody on ESPN picked the Seahawks. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, damn. Mina comes to the Seahawks. Let's Seahawks fans.
I saw something last week that like they at 53 or 51 out of 57 analysts across all different networks picked the Seahawks, and all the ESPN ones picked the Seahawks.
You know, ESPN's got the Super Bowl next year.
I did see that.
No. What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They got the rights deals changed. They're in the loop
Right.
now.
That's gross. They're gonna ruin it. ESPN truly sucks. Like in the morning, so I don't ever like really watch ESPN. Like I watch the games on ESPN, but like sometimes in the morning, I just like want sound on, so I like turn on Sports Centers and just try and hearing these. They're trying hard. I'll give it to these Sports Center anchors. They are trying, but they just try and be Stuart Scott. You're not Stuart Scott, bro. Like just stop.
Put the
It's
fries in the
bad.
bag.
Put the
fries-
freaking fries in the bag.
Rapid fire here. Coin toss.
Tails.
I think heads has won like the last 3 years there.
Just tails. Tails never fails.
All right.
Tails
does.
literally failed last year. I remember this.
National
Drew King
anthem.
lost a lot of money. Shout out Malik Foster. Your brother lost money on a coin toss last year.
Oh, national anthem. 120 and a half seconds.
Ooh.
Charlie
Under.
minutes.
Puth is singing it.
Under. 2 minutes? No, under.
I feel like they always go-
minute 40.
It's going over.
All right. Gatorade color.
Blue has to
Blue.
be a good option,
Blue. It's got to be blue.
or maybe like a clear.
See, here's the thing though with the Gatorade thing. It's like,
Green.
we want blue because we like blue. It's not because they're gonna use blue. I think that most teams use red Gatorades. I'm gonna go with red Gatorade.
Ooh.
Or like the lemon lime, like the
Yeah.
yellow.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, that shows up a lot
Yeah.
too.
That's an elite flavor. That is
I think
slept
that's
on.
what Andy Reid got, or whoever won it last year got bait then was lemon lime.
Mm.
Nick Sirianni. Forget how bad that Super Bowl was.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are
All
y'all's thoughts on Bad Bunny? Are y'all excited for the Bad Bunny?
I've heard Kid Rock's playing the alternate version.
On the Turning Point USA
right.
broadcast?
Yeah.
Don't think I'll be tuning into the Turning Point USA halftime show. But I think aren't the All American Rejects also playing with Bad Bunny? I think that
don't
could be
know.
false information, but that just seems like the two strangest like collaboration of all time.
I don't know. I don't even. What are you guys doing for Super Bowl? I haven't even made plans yet.
I'm going to my buddy's house.
I mean, it's so late at night, dude. The thing's gonna end at 1 a.m. So I mean, we gotta stay home. I got work in the morning. It just makes sense. Why wouldn't NFL push the season back 1 week? We all have Monday off the following week. It's President's Day. Like it
Yeah.
could have just been Sunday night. Hey, pal, listen, go for dose at whatever restaurant you're at, okay, and take the day off of work tomorrow, pal. I mean, everybody's going to suffer on Monday.
Oh
You're
man.
gonna come in there belching nacho cheese and Dos Equis.
That was like one of my worst stories of all time was Super Bowl 51. Obviously the Falcons are in it, so I'm going hard. Obviously, we know how the game ended, was terrible. And then we had morning workouts the next day at 5 a.m.
Oh,
5 a.m. we had workouts at Mars Hill, and almost like a lot of the team was from North Carolina. Like a lot of them, like half at least. They're all diehard Panthers fans. And it was 5 a.m. I am brutally hungover. I made an absolute ass of myself in front of a bunch of people that I really did not know that well. I'd been there for a semester, and I was making an ass of myself, and then they're all just clowning me at 5 a.m. It was terrible, terrible day.
nothing worse than coming into some of those football workouts with the suds from the night before, dude. And then you had an 8 a.m. after right at bang right after it.
Oh. All right. Well, we will see. Super Bowl 60, last football game of the year. After that, we're gonna head into the off season, and there's gonna be some moves in the NFL. Obviously, the draft's gonna come up, but even before that, free agency is gonna start. So that's where we're gonna head into our next segment right here. Bold free agency predictions for the upcoming off season. All right. There's some names out there that are gonna be on the market. We're gonna see how it goes. All right. So either of you guys got one you're just dying to get out there first?
I like both of mine. I think they both make sense. I think they're both good players. One is a little bit more bold than the other, so I'll leave the bold one for. Or should I do the bold one now? What do you think?
Do it now.
I'll do it now. Tennessee Titans. I like their hire of Robert Salah. I like it. I like their hire of Dable as offensive coordinator. They're going all in with that hire. They're saying Cam Ward's our guy. But what does Cam Ward need? Cam Ward needs a true wide receiver one. Calvin Ridley by himself is just not going to cut it, and they need to maximize what they can get out of him. I think the Titans are going to put a bid in to get George Pickens. George Pickens will be a Tennessee Titan. It just depends on what the Cowboys are going to be able to do because, the Cowboys getting rid of Micah Parsons was good in the interim for cap space, but since then they added Kenny Clark. They added
Quentin Williams.
Quentin Williams. They have that contract. They have the CD Lamb contract. Like all the money they got from trading away and getting rid of Micah Parsons' contract has basically come back, in the addition of those two defensive linemen. So it's not like they're just like bathing in money. I think Jerry's going to try and get a deal done with George. But at the end of the day, Tennessee, I feel like, they have Jeffrey Simmons is like their big contract. Calvin Ridley. Outside of that, like, they got money to play with.
Yeah, they
So
have the
I
most
could
money in the cap. They have the most cap
do that.
space. They had
So
they got into it.
they will be able to throw an absolute bag at George Pickens, and then like it's gonna be, hey George, do you want to be number 2 wide receiver in Dallas, or do you want to come be a top 3 paid wide receiver in the NFL in Tennessee? And I can see it happening because they need to get another great wide receiver to put with Calvin Ridley to get the most out of Cam.
George Pickens in Nashville.
So funny enough, my first bold prediction, I like both of mine as well, but my first one is involving George Pickens as well. I think the Cowboys are going to screw the deal up too. I think they're also going to screw up their deal with Javonte Williams. I think Javonte Williams, George Pickens both end up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pickens goes
Coming back.
Pickens goes back since Tomlin's gone. T's gone. Mike McCarthy's there. Think he'll kind of want the talent back in the building. The Bills will give Pittsburgh Keon Coleman for basically free this offseason to go with it. And to finish out the offense, Aaron Rodgers is back.
How about
I
that?
could see that.
How about that?
I'd like to see him come back. I'd like to see it.
I would too. I don't think he will, but I'd like to. Mike McCarthy though.
It's
We'll
Mike
see.
McCarthy, man. That's what I'm
Mike
saying. Like
McCarthy.
it's a perfect dream scenario for him.
My first one I've got also includes the Titans. Not sure how bold this is, maybe a little less on the bold scale, but I think Breece Hall will end up with the Tennessee Titans. He's a free agency this year off the Jets. First of all, he was with Robert Salah with the Jets when he was head coach, so he knows it, the culture that he likes to run. He's familiar with the coaching staff, and like I mentioned earlier, the Tennessee Titans have the most cap room in the NFL, and Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears are really just not getting it done in the run game. I think putting Cam Ward with a running back like Breece Hall, who's shown to be really productive, could work out very well for him. So I'm going to be locking that one in, and then I'll come back around on my second.
Can I make one comment on that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I would just be on the lookout also for, while we're just talking running backs, Kenneth Walker is going to be a free agent following that game on Sunday. And that was just one thing I was looking at. Like if Kenneth Walker goes, I was thinking about maybe Breece Hall going to Seattle and Kenneth Walker potentially going somewhere else. But I don't know. That was just that's not one of my picks, but it was something I was playing with earlier. Figured I'd voice it.
Yeah, that's an idea. I mean, what about a potential Kenneth Walker, Travis Etienne switch?
That could also have. I hope the Jags get it done because I feel like it's more than just a running back in some ways. Because Travis
For him and Trevor.
Trevor and Travis Etienne know each other like the back of their hand at this point. They've been playing together for almost a decade, which is crazy to think about. But since they enrolled at Clemson on the same day, like 10 years ago. It's kind of hard to get rid of that.
My second one is I'm going to go with Trey Hendrickson, who is probably the biggest name in the free agents pool right now. I'm going to say he's heading to Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
With the Chargers. All right. The Chargers are all right. First of all, he's definitely leaving Cincinnati, right?
Yeah,
he's not coming back to Cincinnati.
1,000,000%.
The turmoil there is too deep.
Damage has been done.
Yeah. Jim Harbaugh, obviously a big defensive guy. First of all, he would love Trey Hendrickson. He would love a white edge rusher. I promise you, the way that Trey Hendrickson plays, I promise you Jim Harbaugh would love that. Okay? Khalil Mack also is a huge question mark for the Chargers. Will he come back? He had an injury last year. He might be on the move. He's obviously a little older, so they might need to fill that gap. And the Chargers have the third most cap room in the NFL this year. So I think if they can upgrade. Khalil Mack's a great player, but I think Trey Hendrickson with how much younger he is, he's kind of fresh because I mean he didn't play a ton this year with Bengals. Maybe I'm saying that, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like there was a lot of games he missed. I feel like he's really trying to in terms of the mental game, like he's got a lot to prove because he wants to show Cincinnati that they wasted his time. So I think the Chargers are going to make a move defensively. I know that they're already had like a pretty solid defense, and I think the rich are going to get a little richer in that situation. So I'm gonna say Trey Hendrickson ends up with the Los Angeles Chargers.
I don't hate that at all. I'd also maybe watch the Baltimore Ravens with Trey Hendrickson. I could also see that happening. So just keep an eye on that one. But I have my second one is one that I really love, and it also involves the LA Chargers. So what have we talked about with the Chargers? What's their weakness?
Pass
The offensive
protection.
line.
Offensive line, pass protection. Tyler Lindenbaum from Baltimore got his 5th-year option declined, which I think is a little bit of a
Insane.
bad decision. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Mm.
I don't know if I'd say he's the best center in the National Football League. He's pretty dang good. And he's young. And the Chargers need this. They need this. Like, you're going to be getting Joe Alt. You're going to be able to get Slater back next year. You plug in an experienced guy like Tyler Linderbaum at center, try and figure out something at guard, and that can be a good offensive line. Like, that can go from one of the worst offensive lines we've ever seen line up in the wild card round against the Patriots to a pretty dang good line next year. And then when you think about,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to be able to get the most out of Justin Herbert. Number 2, Amarian Hampton. I think Amarian Hampton, and yeah, it's probably because I'm a dynasty owner and I want the best out of him, but I think he can be a freak. He is fast. He can hit you like a fullback. He can catch out of the backfield. We've seen flashes out of Quentin Johnston.
Najee
Yeah,
Harris come back.
Najee Harris come back. Lad McConkey, we've seen him be really good. But a
If he
lot of
can
these
see.
things go away. A lot of these things go away because you don't have time to do anything. Amarian's getting hit in the backfield. Justin Herbert's getting pressured on his 4th step of his 5th step drop to try and get the ball
Mhm.
downfield. All of it goes away without the offensive line. Them getting the 2 tackles back alone is going to help. But if you can add a guy in the center, the quarterback of the offensive line, it's going to help even more. You get those 3 guys, try and figure out something at guards. I don't really know what their situation is exactly like at guards. I know it ain't good. I know it's not good.
One
Maybe
of
try
them's
and figure out
okay. I
something
think he
there.
got hurt too. And he's a
Wouldn't doubt it.
rookie-ish.
Would not doubt it.
I mean, they were slaughtered up front at one point this year. It was about as bad as it could get for a football team. But I'm with you. I think that if they are able to do that, if Herbert has a year of healthy protection and healthy receivers around him, it'd be hard for me not to imagine that's not like a borderline Super Bowl run.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
especially when you give him the tools.
I would love to see that.
Me
Love
too, honestly. Just to like turn him loose, man. Like just give
Mhm.
him as good of a team as possible. My bold prediction, the next one is going to be about y'all's team. Now, I'm not talking Seattle Seahawks either. This guy down here playing jokes.
Jacksonville Jaguars?
No, 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 no. No business there. Kyle Pitts is a free agent.
He's staying. He's staying.
Kyle Pitts is going to get a $50 million deal plus from another team. But it's okay. The Falcons are going to let him walk. They're going to sign David Njoku from the Browns right behind it to replace him.
I can get down with that. Hey, where's Kyle Pitts going?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh,
Because Kelsey is retiring.
he
I
did.
don't
Hey,
know, dude.
listen,
Patrick
I don't know
Mahomes
if
tweeted
y'all-
LFG today at Travis
Did-
Kelce.
Did you see Travis Kelce's shot on 16 at Waste Management today? Looked pretty good. Looked like a
Oh, did it?
retirement. Looked like a retirement stroke. Yeah,
Oh,
he
maybe-
put
maybe-
it pretty close. Also,
Maybe that's
just
why he
quick
tweeted.
plug. Waste Management starts tomorrow. Big tournament. It's gonna be good.
Mhm.
Taking
Love the
Deki
big.
Matsuyama. That's my pick.
Scotty Scheffler's plus 220 on the field.
Mm.
Like, for people at home, if you know that how insane that is, that's like being what is that? Maybe a touchdown dog to somebody, to
Yeah.
90 to 120 other people. It's him or everybody else.
Oh man, that'll be fun. That's always
Okay,
one of the best ones to watch.
It is. It's always a good one.
The
but
fifth
also,
major?
Nah, Fitzmajour's in
Players.
the Players Championship down in Ponte Vedra. Oh yeah, 100%.
This
I'll
is
say
the
this.
party.
It's the party, but I also say this just about the Waste Management Classic and the PGA as a whole, how it goes with this tournament. I feel like they had a good thing, like we get a little loose. last year they got it kind of under control. 2 years ago, it was a shit show. I mean, it was
Mhm.
like, okay, we are not the live golf tournament. Like, we're not trying to do that, and it got a little embarrassing. Justin Rose is going to win the Masters. Also, while we're talking golf, Justin Rose, take that for the Masters. All right, back to football. But
Yeah,
All right.
come on.
All right. My last one, and I feel really confident about this one. All right. And I might clip this for myself because I feel pretty good about it. Malik Willis is going to be a free agent this year. I believe that Malik Willis is going to end up as a Arizona Cardinal.
I can see
Mm.
Let
that.
me tell you a couple reasons why. One, the new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals is Mike LaFleur. Why is that relevant, you ask? Well, Malik Willis is currently, or maybe not anymore, on the Packers, whose head coach is Matt LaFleur, Mike's brother. So guess what? He's probably like, yeah, this guy's pretty good. Okay. They have, in terms of the quarterback draft class, we've talked about this, like Mendoza, Ty Simpson, like I can't even think of another name out there at the top of my head. Uh, it's not the best quarterback draft class. If we're
Carson
being
Beck, dude.
exactly, exactly. So they're not. They have a top. They have the third pick in the draft. They can save not drafting a quarterback this year. Get one of the really good defensive players in the draft or an offensive lineman, whatever they want to do with it. They're obviously getting rid of Kyler Murray. That has already been established pretty much. They benched him in like week 10, week 11 this year. And so he's gone. Wherever he ends up is still a mystery. We'll find that out, in due time. But Kyler Murray's not going to be the quarterback. And I think they're, feeling good about moving on from Jacoby Brissett. Maybe he'll be the backup again. The demand of Malik Willis, I don't think is going to be that high. And I think in terms of maybe there's going to be teams that want him, but can they give him the play time and, like at least a whole year as a starter, 2 years as a starter? That might be the only issue. Maybe there's another team out there I'm not thinking about that's willing to do that for Malik Willis, but I think the Cardinals match up really well in that situation. They have $42 million in cap space, maybe 10th most in the league. So I feel really good about and really strong that Malik Willis, who has put on good tape the last couple years in Green Bay, is going to end up playing for Matt's brother Mike in Arizona this upcoming season. Maybe I don't know how long maybe the deal will be, maybe 2-3 years, I would assume. I feel good about it. What
I
do you
don't
guys think
hate
about
that.
that?
I
Makes
like
a
that
ton
a
of
lot.
sense. Makes a ton of sense. I think the only other place that dude could land is probably the Raiders if they go somewhere else other than quarterback at number 1, but it would be kind of crazy for them to do that, I think.
Anthony Richardson.
What do you mean? Like, where's he going to end up? Could he go? I
I
don't think
was
the
think
Colts
I,
can get out from underneath that.
I was thinking that maybe Arizona could maybe be a place for Anthony Richardson. I think I like
I would not want
I
Aaron.
like the Malik Willis one more, I'd say, but
Where's Daniel
I don't
Jones
know.
going? Is he coming
He's gonna
back?
resign. I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back.
Is he going to play half the season next year?
I mean,
I
we'll
mean,
see.
I don't know.
I'm sure he can ink a cheaper contract, at
Yeah.
least based on what it was projecting to be when he was playing really well. Because at that point, what's the Colts plan? Like if you're going to go a different direction, what's their plan? You just had a guy in the building that was playing really good, and they probably look at the Seattle Seahawks. Like obviously, it was a little bit different because Dan Jones did suffer a season-ending injury. But look at the Seahawks getting Sam Darnold, and then compare that with the Vikings letting him walk after having the best season of his career. Like, it's a little daunting. Ink him to a one year, $15 million contract. See what he got, and then we'll go.
Yeah, because if he plays well on that $15 million deal, you're going to be thrilled with how it went. I mean, that's a steal. You guys were talking about Arizona too. Jacoby Brissett was the guy that filled in for Kyler Murray at the end of the year. Played his ass off too. Like he was averaging at one point 300 yards a game for them over there. You guys remember during the season he had like one game he completed like 47 passes or something for like 380 something yards.
Like the most
Everybody talked
completions
about.
ever or something.
Yeah, I mean, he played well. Now he was a check down champion, but that's winning football. I mean, it's better than turning it over, like what Kyler was doing. So I think that guy could end up landing somewhere too. It's going to be a very shallow quarterback market this offseason. Like Malik Willis is probably going to get 15, 20 million, like you said, just because they ain't nobody really left.
I mean, wherever Kyler goes will be interesting as well. I mean, he'll be traded somewhere, I would assume.
I'm interested to see some of these old guys come back too. Like somebody will give Jeff Flacco $10 million to come back and play next year easily.
Pro
Yeah.
Bowler.
Pro Bowl.
What a joke. Did you guys watch that, by the way? Final
No.
score looked like a halftime of a basketball game. It was like 66-48. Jerry Rice's team won. Yeah, there were some pretty cool plays, but it didn't seem like many people were pumped up to be there.
I saw
Shedeur
the
threw a
tush
pick on the
push.
first drive.
I saw a tush push.
Like last play of the game
video.
or something, yeah.
I did not see that. I missed that. But I think I was already checked out. Once he got over 100 points, I think I turned it off. But yeah, Shedeur threw a pick on his first possession in the Super Bowl or in the Pro Bowl. Shocker. Perfect timing on that.
Okay, all right. Well, before we get out of here, I wanted to bring up something that happened in the college football landscape. The announcement of the next 2 years playoff schedule dropped, and we kind of knew something bad was coming, right? It was writing on the wall. I had mentioned maybe a couple podcasts ago, like the national championship is going to be January 25th next year. It's going to be like around the same time the next year after that, and the next year after that. So they've released the schedules of the playoff games for the next 2 seasons. So this upcoming year in 2026, the first round will be the week before Christmas. I think it's the 19th or the 20th. They haven't really released those dates yet, to be specific, but they would, probably be around the same time, 2 weeks after conference championship games. The Fiesta Bowl is going to be Wednesday, December 30th. That'll be the first quarterfinal, and then there's no game on New Year's Eve because they're not wanting to go against the NFL, who's going to have a Thursday night game that night. And then on New Year's Day, they're going to have the Cotton Bowl, the Peach Bowl, and the Rose Bowl all going back to back. And then here's the kicker. They've decided that they're going to wait 2 weeks. So the next time they will play a game for the playoffs will be the January 14th and January 15th, a 2-week break between the quarterfinals and the semifinal games in the Orange Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. And then the national championship will be 10 days later in Vegas. So they're going to have basically, I think in totality, it's going to be 38 days between the first round of the playoffs to the national championship. It's going to be basically a whole month to do the quarterfinals to the national championship. The next year, it's the same thing. They go back. They play a game on New Year's Eve the next year in 2027. They'll play the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Eve. They'll play the rest of the games on New Year's Day. And then there will be another 2-week break for the Orange Bowl and Cotton Bowl, and then another 10 to 11-day break for the national championship. So the schedule is just getting expanded. And there's a lot of talks about how to fix the schedule. I don't really know the best idea to do that. But what I do know is that this is just insane to be dragging it out as long as they are, especially when you think about how the transfer portal is still going to be working out right now. The whole transfer portal opened up January 2nd this year and it closed like the 2 weeks later. Think about this, the transfer portal, like these players that are going to be in the playoff, like these teams could get really messed up. Maybe the rules are different for them for if they can come out like after the season's over. I don't know, but there's going to be so much, the tampering is going to be out of this world for teams that are still in the playoffs. And this is just madness in college football. And again, I know Jake said it before, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot time and time again. But what do you guys think about this?
Well, it's almost like they don't listen to the Deep Shot Sports podcast, and like I just don't understand. But like on a serious note, I would love to ask the people making this decision. Okay, tell me the benefit. Like tell me what is the pro, the positive of having our season end like at the end of January now. Like what how does that make sense? It's not college football. It's not college football, man. Like, the playoffs, one thing, NIL is another, like, all that we knew was gonna have to come at one point because of the lawsuits and all that. Like, yeah, I hate it, but you can kinda sorta understand where that's coming from. Them, like, not expanding the playoffs, but then saying it's gonna be 4 weeks from the quarterfinals to the national championship. What's the benefit?
I don't see it either. I think it's just them people not thinking and just building on top of what's already there. It's kind of like instead of you're trying to build something outside and you just build something on top of it instead. That's kind of what's going on here. I think they're going to have to restructure. It's funny you guys talk about this too because I was listening to John Summerall. He hadn't had much media availability. He's had 2 press conferences. Today was the second one, but it's because they have to have one today. Because by the way, today would have been some impromptu. Yesterday was an impromptu signing day. National Signing Day would normally have been at this date, but here we are. So he had a conversation with a reporter, and he said that now the midpoint of the season's in November if he play in the Natty, which
November
is
11th is the
which is
mid or
absurd.
no, sorry, maybe not, but week 11 is the midpoint of the season. Insane.
It's patently absurd. I think that everybody sees the writing on the wall, and that you're playing a longer season. You need to back the season up. We need to make week 0 week 1 and make it week 1 for everybody, and that's one thing he talked about. And on the topic of tampering, he said something I thought was very interesting tonight, and I want to get you guys' take on this anyways, but people were talking about the calendar situation and the transfer portal and retaining players, and it was dealing with getting Eric Singleton to Florida. And he said that, these guys, there's been a lot of tampering talk. It came up during the point, and he said, "There's been a lot of tampering talk around the sport." But I don't even worry about my guys getting tampered with. Every single player on this team has gotten tampered with in the last 30 days. Every one of them. Every player that I talk to, I tamper with. He didn't say that out loud, but that's what he was getting at.
Mhm.
And he said, "Well, I can't worry about it. I mean, these guys." And then he said another thing, which was him and Darian Mensah still speak regularly. Like he calls and talks to him like they're buddies, and he gives him advice. And he said that he was a fan of Mensah getting his bag when it happened, even then and now that he's left Tulane. But what do you guys think about all that?
If I get the approach, right? Like, I understand the approach that if you're a coach, like, not everyone's gonna take the Dabo Swinney approach and go out and whine, and I'm not gonna say he's whining, but go out and, stamp like, "Hey, this is going on," because, you gotta play the game, right? And that is what these guys are doing, and if you're unlike Dabo Swinney, who, is a little behind on a lot of stuff, like, you understand that this is just how it goes, whether it's right or wrong, we all know it's wrong, but um, I mean, I get it. Like, you cannot you have to just build the culture in your program, which I think is something that, like, Kirby Smart, and I think maybe a lot of people give him credit for, but I want to give him credit for it too. I mean, like, Georgia had the least amount of transfers out in the SEC this year, and it's because you have to just set the culture within your program. And the way he talks, like in his press conferences, I remember he said something like, "Hey, do you want to you want to talk about re-signing, and you want to talk about." The new money you're getting, like, why don't you just focus on getting better? Why don't you focus on, and you gotta just set those values in the program, and the guys that, wanna chase the money are gonna chase the money. I saw something today, um, and it was about, like, Jared Curtis, the offensive lineman that went to Miami last year, or maybe the 5-star Miami offensive lineman, I forgot his name, that I can't remember if it was this year or last year, but he was committed to Georgia. Jared Curtis was committed to Georgia. There was another, I think it was a tight end that went to USC. They were all committed to Georgia at one point, or were in high talks and went for the money situation over that. And whether, if that's what you got to do as these guys are going out from high school to college to take care of their family or whatever they're going to do, that's fine. But at the end of the day, like, the development in your program is what's going to separate you. And even when you're getting the high profile guys like the Miami's are, when they get Carson Beck for $4 million, at the end of the day, yes, they got a national championship. They didn't really get to the national championship because of Carson Beck. They got it
No.
because of the guys that developed, guys like Malachi Tony that they brought in and that they developed, in terms of, like, Fernando, Indiana's a little bit Indiana in a way because, Kurt Cinetti had all those guys for a long time that he brought in, other than Fernando Mendoza. I know he was somewhere else, but, like his 12 to 15 James Madison players that he developed over a long course of time, like, that's what's going to end up winning at the end of the day. So I think these guys, in terms of the tampering and what happens, the coaches just, I think, know what it takes, but I think at the end of the day, the setting the standard of your program is gonna win out in the end. Like, it's gonna be hard fetched to think like a team like LSU is gonna go just win it all automatically,
Yeah.
or Lane Kiffin's gonna have to build recruiting, and he's gonna have to build a culture there before it even, like, sets foot, in a national championship game. So that's kind of a long answer to what I think about that.
I think you're spot on, though. I mean, he talked about some of the things that you're leveling on too, and even there's the issue with people wanting to change it, like going back to the old signing day, or they went from 2 portals to 1 portal, and now they're talking about backing the portal up. I mean, all these changes. I told somebody the other day, it'd be one thing if college football was trying to, when you're trying to fix something in your house, you're not going to fix the roof, change the windows, get a new stove, go buy a new fridge, redo the counters, and pull the floors up at the same time. That's what college football's doing.
Mhm.
Like they're trying to play musical chairs with their own ass, and there's 9 seats. And it's not working. I mean, clearly they're going to disrupt the sport, and coaches have bitched about it a bunch. We've heard it all day. We've said it on here that there's just a lack of common sense in what's going on, and it has diffracted the sport. I did want to bring up something though you talked about earlier, going back to the schedule where we got on this topic that they wanted to avoid the NFL on New Year's Eve because it's a Thursday night game. Why? Why does college
They
football think
just
they
did
need
that though.
to avoid exactly. They did
It
it, what
just
was it, a Sunday
happened.
night football game or
Yeah,
something?
it
With the
was
playoff?
it was Bears Packers. They had their first round going up against Bears Packers.
But here's my thing. Go call the NFL. Like, either you can put a game, because they only needed to put 1 game on that day, right? Because 'Cause they're playing 1 game Thursday and then 3
Mhm.
Saturday. So, you could have just put that 1 game Thursday. Would it have hurted you to put it at 4 o'clock like, holiday Friday? Would it have hurt you to put it, or tell the NFL to go to the 4 o'clock window and you go to 7? I mean, I think they could have just worked that out, or just how about this? How about college football fans? The majority of the people that watch the games are the fans of the own damn teams that are in the game. So you're not going to lose too much of the market to the NFL game regardless. Like, I think if the NFL would have played a game the night of Miami, Indiana, that number's the same.
You're competing against a NFL game that's gonna have to be on Amazon Prime versus a game that you're gonna have on cable.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a large set of the audience that is too old to figure out how to get Prime on the TV.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I mean, it's like the NBA. I'm not a big NBA fan, but the NBA is gonna be playing games on Sunday. Like it's you have to go for your own product, and the people that are
Yeah.
there are people that are there, and um, yeah, it's all about money, obviously, right? Like they are like, well, if we don't have everyone watching us, if we have to compete with the NFL, then we're gonna lose out on some money, so we can't do that, and that's where it all kind of stems from. So,
It
all
goes to
right.
show you that those people around college football that comment are right, that these folks that are running football don't actually like football or run football. Because if they did, they talk to the fans. Everybody's saying the same shit.
Well, that will wrap up episode 51. We got one more episode this season. It'll
Mm.
be on Monday. We'll do it on Monday night. Obviously, Super Bowl Sunday is going
Thank
to be a
you.
little busy. I would assume we're all going to be a little crunk or a little tired, and don't really want to record something at 10 o'clock. It would be, kind of fun, but we're gonna, take the day off on Sunday night, come in on Monday, and wrap up season 4 of the Deep Shot podcast. We'll reminisce there, talk about the Super Bowl, and yeah. So for Jake and for Caleb, thank you guys for listening to another episode. We will see you guys soon. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Deep Shot out.